Hi everybody. As we start to come to the end of 2022, I wanted to talk to you about all the stuff that we've been working on for Lifecycle 3 as we release it into the system. So there's a few areas that I want to talk about. The first one that we've been working on with Lifecycle is a brand new section called Task Force. The ability to be able to see what everybody in the company is working on and what tasks are outstanding with all of your contacts and your properties. So in a traditional task-based system, you only get the opportunity to say there's either a task to do or the tasks have been done. And when those tasks are done, they kind of disappear in a puff of smoke. So there's no real way of being able to see what people have been working on for the week, or even if you go on a contact, what may have been done with them previously, what might be outstanding. It's a little bit difficult. If something is outstanding, is that in progress? Has anyone started it? And so we have to bring all this information into our morning meetings, and we have to sit and go, have you done this? Are you in the process of doing that? And find out, sitting in front of our team, how everything's working. A little bit difficult, a little bit cumbersome, and certainly in today's world, kind of unnecessary, where you've got teams that are working remotely around the world. Then there should be a better solution. So we've brought something into a state agency that's never really been done before. It's a business management system. As I say, we've called it Task Force. Companies around the world work this way. It may take a little bit of getting used to inside a state agency, but I can promise you it works. There's a section where you can see all of the to-do tasks. You can move them to a middle section of in-progress tasks, and then you can move them to a section of resolved tasks. So as an employee, a negotiator, an administrator, a sales progressor, something like that, I can see all of the things that I've got outstanding, their priority. I can set a task for somebody else. They can see what they've got outstanding. When it gets to the date of something in the future becoming something that now needs to be done, that'll appear on my to-do list. If it's a long-winded task that takes a little bit of time, I can move it to in progress so that my line managers can see I'm in the process of doing this task. They don't need to keep asking me. The other thing that it does is when I go into a task, I can see other related tasks to do with that person or that property. So if I phone John Smith up to ask him about if we can come round to do the photographs for his house, I don't then hang up and 2 minutes later he gets a phone call from somebody else in the office saying, oh, and also can we come round and, I don't know, do a viewing. I can see other related tasks when I'm speaking to that person. So while I'm on the phone, I can get these things covered off. The same with the property. So Task Force is a really exciting project for us. We've been working on it for a long time. You can make a task when you're on a property, you can make a task when you're on a person, or you can just go straight into Task Force and work from there. The third thing that I wanted to talk about is a new dashboard. When we made the original Lifecycle dashboard, we were more focused on the marketing side of things. We were more focused on the market appraisals. How many market appraisals had you been on? How many were outstanding? How much business were you nurturing? And the dashboard was okay, but there was nothing particularly that useful on the dashboard. As the systems evolved, we've started to find that people sometimes have to go digging for the stuff they wanted inside Lifecycle 2. Rob does some great training sessions around a Hotbox 2 strategy and prospecting and where to find all of that information, and it's brilliant if you've got the time to go on his coaching sessions or his courses and then implement it. You can find some incredible prospects inside Lifecycle. But what we wanted to do in Lifecycle 3 is start to simplify that. So on the new dashboard, there's a section called Rocks. The idea behind Rocks comes from the concept that if you had a glass or a jug, let's say, and you had to fit loads of sand and loads of rocks into this jug, if you put all the sand in first and it fills up, and then you try to put the rocks in, they won't fit. They'll be sitting on the top. And if you put the rocks in first and then pour the sand in, the sand will actually find its way through the rocks and it'll all fit into the jug. And it's a little bit like the fundamental tasks that keep your business running and just the day-to-day shit that you get caught up in. The sand is the day-to-day stuff where you're just running around like a lunatic. The rocks are the things that we really need to focus on to start moving the dial in the business. So this new section on the dashboard, rocks, is something whereby if your team focus on this, the dial in your business is going to start to move. You can see active potential listings. The list comes up and Lifecycle will show you these people, we think you might want to take a closer look at them. They've been active and it will tell you the reason why we think you might want to take a look at them. So you could hover over somebody and it might say, hey, you might want to investigate this guy, he's just been active. So you can then go in and you can either decide that you're going to dismiss it off the list, I don't want to know about it, in which case he'll go until he does another activity that brings him back onto the list. Or you can create a task. You might go, actually, I think I will call this guy. I'm going to make a task to call him tomorrow. Or you can call him right there and then if you want to. Or if you do call him right there and then and it turns into a market appraisal, you've got that option. So you can work your way through this list and get it all the way back down to 0. Lifecycle will then wait until the middle of the night and it will go mining in the database again, so that when you come the next day, there should be some new people on that list, or maybe there'll be the same people that have done another activity. But either way, it should take you straight to the gold inside your system. There's another section there around potential viewings, people that have been actively looking at your properties in the last 14 days. So you can see in one place, let's work our way through these people, see if we can get some viewings on these properties. Of course, you can still go to the property itself and see them there, but this is one central place where you can go and you can see who was active looking at our properties yesterday. Which ties in to the next feature I wanted to talk about, which is Lifecycle giving you the ability to share your properties straight onto Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter in the same way that you can post them to the portals or your website or the Lifecycle search. Of course, you might decide that you want to carry on doing that manually and that's up to you. But what Lifecycle's doing is it's giving you, one, the ability to shrink down the amount of administration time that it takes for you to launch a property to your website, the portal, social media, and all of these different things, because you can just do it from one place. You can schedule when you want it to go onto these different platforms, and you can let it go. It will use the text that you're using as a summary text on Rightmove, so it should be something that you're already happy with, that's going to make somebody interested in that property. It will use the main photo, but it will link through to the page on the Lifecycle search, which fires up your potential viewings, so that when you go back onto that Rocks dashboard, there's a bigger number there for you to look at who's been looking at our properties. The final thing that I wanted to talk about is not so much a new feature, but just the way that we're moving forward with Lifecycle for you guys that have decided that you want a different way of working. I understand that sometimes it's difficult to just move from working one way to another way, but I hope that you can see the effort and the passion that we've got for really pushing this industry forward. That task force system, it's never been done in a estate agency before. Will you find any bugs in it? Maybe. It's never been done before, so it's possible. You can't push the boundaries of innovation whilst also sitting in comfort. There's going to be some issues somewhere. We will find them. We will find new ways of working together, and we will continue to push and push and push and make sure that we make this industry survive as we push on through the 2020s together.
The Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. And when they go through a process of growing it, they have to water and fertilize the ground where it is every day. And it doesn't break through the ground until the 5th year. Okay? But once it breaks through the ground, within 5 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. Now the question is, does it grow 90 feet tall in 5 weeks or 5 years? The answer is obvious. It grows 90 feet tall in 5 years, because at any time that that person stopped watering and nurturing and fertilizing that tree, that bamboo tree would have died in the ground.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.